Okay. So welcome to our teleclass this evening on Heartfulness, the key to health and spiritual well-being with Dr. John Wadude Laird. Well, I'd like to just tell you a little bit about Wadude. For those of you who don't know him, and even those of you who do, I've known Wadude for, a long time now, 17 years at least, maybe a little bit more. And I have to say that I have witnessed Wadude, Dr. Wadude, Dr. Laird, over these years. And I can honestly say that he is one of the most sincere, authentic people I've ever met. He's got one of the deepest hearts of anyone I've ever known. His dedication if you've been around the Sufi teachings, we talk about walking the straight path, just walking the path of truth and love. And I have seen Wadude walk through some of the toughest challenges and just keep facing forward, keep putting his head down, keep saying yes to whatever shows up in front of him. And I know in watching him, for myself, there's been times where I've looked at him and I've thinking, oh my gosh, I so would have thrown in the towel by now. I would have, been all over my old patterns, at least gorge on 10 pounds of chocolate, And yet I see Wadude over and over again say, no, wait a minute. What is it that Allah is making for me here? What is God asking of me? What's the truth in this? How can I keep walking with this? How can I keep cleaning my heart? I've never seen him back down from a challenge. And as part of this journey we're on, we're faced with challenge after challenge after challenge. And for me, I feel like it's just been a blessing to know Wadude and to watch the way that he handles the things that show up in his life. It's just been a teaching, and it's also given me just blessing after blessing after blessing, because he has been so committed to washing his heart, clearing the blocks, and returning to love over and over and over again. So I feel blessed to have him today to offer this teleclass to us. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to him. Wadude, thank you so much for being here. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Master. I can't wait to be able to introduce you on a teleclass you give, so I can speak my heart and how much I love and care for you and respect you immensely. And I also know you as someone who has faced enormous challenges and continues to come back again and again and again. So thank you. Maybe that's the theme for the course tonight, or the class tonight, is life is full of challenges, and anybody who's been on the Sufi path for any length of time will tell you that stepping on the Sufi path doesn't mean that your life is going to be full of love, peace, mercy, beauty. Everything's going to work out fine, no challenges, no illness, no difficult relationships, no financial challenges, all that somehow magically going to disappear. All of those experiences, in one mixture of them or another, every human being faces. We all face, at one point or another, challenges with health. We have difficulty in relationships. We have friends and family members who die. We have many, many challenges, and that's the nature of the world in three dimensions, you might say. The indescribable beauty of Sufism and the Sufi path, which I hope to at least give people a taste or a desire to know more, the indescribable beauty of it is that through this approach, this wisdom, the blessings that are held in this particular path, which is the only one I can speak of with any level of experience. I've been a student of Sufism for over 30 years, and is still a beginner in many ways. But this is a way to, speaking about the heart, this is a path that can that leads to your heart being a garden, being an oasis, being a place of beauty and love and peace and security and safety, no matter what's happening to you in the outside world. So that one's sense of well-being in a deep way is not dependent on your ability to manipulate the world, your ability to stay safe, your ability to isolate yourself, your ability to do anything that comes from the strategies that our egos create. But this beauty in this garden comes from your heart being directly connected and directly receiving from the divine realms, from God, from the angelic realms, and everything that the heart needs is accessible from, in the Sufism we say, from the source of all goodness. I don't know what you might be looking for in this time in your life. I know the needs of our hearts are very similar. Our hearts need love. Our hearts need compassion. Our hearts need safety. Our hearts need sustenance. Our hearts need caring. All of these things, I know with certainty, are available from the source of love, peace, healing, safety. So Sufism is a way for your heart to go directly to the source of whatever it is that you need. And in order to do that, we have some habits to break and some things that get in the way. So thank you, Mister. I think maybe we need to talk about tonight how we walk through difficulties, or just acknowledge that difficulties exist for everyone. I'm aware of, in terms of people who have signed up for the course, we have a really, really wide range of people on the call tonight. This is sort of billed as an introductory call, but there are people on the call who've been studying Sufism for 20 years, and with whom I could take a course and learn a lot. And so it's just very humbling to have people who have such depth who are on the call. I mean, everybody has depth on the call, but there are people who have much experience. We have people who graduated from the University of Spiritual Healing and Sufism, and I guess you guys are here to touch in and get a tune-up or stay connected with what we have to offer, and that's fantastic. It's nice to have old friends here for sure. We have people I see who've taken some of our online teleclasses, and some of them have taken our online courses, and some have taken our online classes. So thank you all very much. Some people completely brand new, and that's always very exciting, and I hope to have a chance to meet you and to work with you in person, because although it's nice to be able to have a teleclass where people literally from all over the world can join us, the real beauty and things where things get really exciting and the healing is very deep is when we have a chance to work in person. So I hope that happens. So the opportunity here is for no matter what your background is, the opportunity here is, and my invitation is for each of you to take away from the class tonight something that can change your life in a beautiful way forever. I mean, that's what I'm playing for, if you will. My prayer is that our time together tonight brings you something that's of real benefit, lasting benefit, and also my prayer is that the class is pleasing to Allah, pleasing to God. But my invitation to you is by the end of the call to clarify what it is what action step you're going to take in your own spiritual path, in your own healing process, in your own journey to God, whatever it is that's important to you, that you listen actively and take from this class something and make a commitment to take action, because that's how your life's going to change most readily, and that's how you're going to bring more and more beauty into your life and more healing. So I'm going to hold myself to that, and that's what I'm wanting to support you in, and I'll be reminding you, hopefully, Mr. You can remind me, but I'll be reminding you at the end of the call is, what is the action step that you want to take? Let's see, is there anything else? Let me give my personal contact information, because that's something that'd be easy to forget. So anybody on the call at any time can contact me with questions, or if you are looking for support or clarification, please contact me. My email is drwadude, drwadude, @gmail.com, drwadude@gmail.com. My phone number is 707-965-0456, 707-965-0456. That's my personal line in my home office. Okay, let's see. Ya Allah Rahman Rahim. So I think the focus that may be useful for many people on the call would be to look at what is the heart. In Sufism we talk about what is the heart and how to care for your heart, and then how to heal the heart and how to hook the heart up directly with God, as I was talking about earlier. So it is said that in our tradition that in the body there's a piece of flesh, and if this is sound, then the whole body is sound. And if it is corrupted, then the whole body is corrupted. And this piece of flesh is the heart. So in Sufism, the heart has a very special rank, if you will, or a special focus. And in my experience as a physician and a therapist and a spiritual healer, the Sufi tradition has the richest and deepest understanding of the heart and its importance. Its importance in having well-being and having real health on the physical level, but also health on the emotional and spiritual level. So it goes without saying, we're not just talking about the muscular pump of the heart, but we're talking about the heart as it's really a whole world. It's even more than an energy center. But of course, the heart is the locus of emotions. It's the locus of desires. Interesting enough, in Sufism, it's the locus of the intellect, and the intellect, or aql in Arabic, A-Q-L. The intellect is deeper than the mind. So in the subtle and spiritual anatomy and the understanding of the Sufis, the mind, you might say, what the brain has, what the brain processes, is actually separate from the intellect. So the mind is, among many other things, carries many of the beliefs that we create. Every time we have an experience in life, we immediately make an interpretation of that experience. We put meaning on that interpretation, and the mind carries the storehouse of this meaning and these interpretations, so that when another experience comes up later on, the mind is always looking for patterns, and it might not be the same experience, but the mind will immediately say, "Oh, okay, we already know that. That person clearly doesn't love me, or that person clearly isn't safe, or I'm clearly not worthy, or Allah has abandoned me again, or I'm not enough, or there's not enough, or you can't trust men, you can't trust women. What's the matter with me?" The mind captures and collects all of these, what we can call self-limiting beliefs or interpretations, and it's inevitable that we make interpretations immediately. That as soon as we have an experience, we make an interpretation. So the teachings around mindfulness, which is from a Buddhist practice, helps the practitioner make a separation between the stimulus, which is what happens, and our interpretation, which is what I'm calling interpretation and meaning, and that practice helps to create a gap. Now, in Sufism, there's an additional aspect here to learn how to wash away these what we call veils, or these coverings over the mind, and then this leads to even deeper well-being. We're having some background noise. Could whoever is on please hit *7 for mute? That'd be appreciated.
Sorry.
Thank you. So going back to the heart takes information from your senses, so that's your eyes, your ears, also what you speak and what you touch, and all of that, that's information from the senses. That gets processed in the brain or stored in the brain. You make meaning and interpretation around all of that, but it's the heart's job in Sufism to decide, make intelligent decisions. And this is the job of the intellect, which is actually a part of the heart. It's not mental. It's the deep knowing. It's taking everything and distilling in the optimal circumstance. It's distilling everything that's happening in your life and then choosing a decision that's wise, choosing a decision that's in the highest for you. Now, that's the ideal. But of course, that rarely happens. So what does happen? Well, let's look at what is the nature of the heart when we're born. You might say, what is the inherent nature of the heart? So I was blessed to be able to see this very directly in that we birthed our children at home, or my wife birthed them at home, but I was the attending husband and father and labor coach. We birthed our children at home. And we were blessed to have a pregnancy that was full of love and full of peace and healthy. We actually had started a Sufi spiritual community, helped start a Sufi spiritual community outside of Asheville, North Carolina. So when our children were born, they came out like fully radiant and alive and looking around and engaged, like right from the beginning. And we all know that when we see children, newborns, especially after they've sort of gotten into their body and stuff, children and toddlers are just full of life and beauty, and they're so magnetic, and especially the children who can engage and be in a relationship, and you smile at them and they smile back, and grown adults get down on all fours and they get on the floor and we make ourselves silly. Well, this is in part because of this quality of the human heart in its natural state is just magnetic and beautiful and alive and fun and so inspiring. But then life happens. So what happens is what I just described. We have experiences. Sometimes they're, quote, pleasant, sometimes not. But we make interpretations of those. We get bowel gas and, our bellies hurt and all of a sudden life has pain, or we're hungry and mommy doesn't come to feed us, and we make interpretations about mommy or interpretations about ourselves, and our older brother or sister takes the toy away from us or knocks us on the floor, or all these things happen. And what happens from a perspective of the heart is that this natural beauty and spontaneity of the heart begins to get covered over. We call those veils, V-E-I-L-S, but it gets covered over. It's not dissimilar to armoring in a psychotherapeutic sense. The heart gets armored, gets rigid, gets protected, gets constricted. So all of us on this call have experienced hearts that have gotten restricted or have carried pain from past trauma, from past relationships that haven't healed, from illness, from a sense of perhaps being inadequate or not enough, perhaps experiences of not being safe. And all these things begin to pile up on the heart. Many of these things are what we call misconceptions from childhood. When we start to have a bunch of experiences, we have a bunch of interpretations, and then we start building, world statements, global statements about ourselves and about other people and about God. So this is the human condition. It happens to all of us. The problem is that when that happens, then we are dramatically cutting ourselves off from possibility. We're cutting ourselves off from our true nature. We're cutting ourselves off from well-being. So the true nature of the heart in Sufism is, and the true nature of the human being, is that the human being is divinely created. The human being is beautiful. The human being is holy. The human being is a locus of love and goodness of the highest magnitude. The human being is holy, strong, vibrant, intelligent, wise. So when I was teaching in Mexico City several years ago, I was blessed to go down there, invited down there to teach. And of course, this was largely a Catholic audience. And when I told them in Sufism, there's no such thing as original sin. It's just the exact opposite. It's original glory and beauty. The whole room was just not only breathed a collective sigh of relief. They said, "We are ready. This is the most tasty meal we've ever had." They're just waiting for that, because in this particular group, they already knew what it was to worship God and to love God. But this teaching of original sin, original badness, is really, really damaging, and it's not held just in the Catholic Church. It's held all over. So our work in the Sufi University is to help people discover the beauty and the truth of who you are, and to help your heart begin to shed all of the things that cause restriction and limitation and pain. So how do we care for the heart? I meant to say that while we're in the class here, we'll go for about an hour, and then we'll turn off the recording, and then we're going to I'll take questions. What I invite you to do is, if you have any questions as it comes up, please just write them down, and then you'll be ready to go when we open the lines to take questions. So. Okay, so let's see. So the heart, first of all, most people don't know that they have a heart at the level that we're talking about. I know I didn't. I grew up, I was in a family where alcoholism was present. I didn't really know what the needs were of my own heart. I tried many things unconsciously that were uneducated ways of trying to meet the needs of my heart, shutting down sexuality, short bouts of weekend drinking at college, at university, working hard, being funny as a child of an alcoholic, armoring, protecting, being unconscious. I was pretty good at being unconscious of my own pain and other people's pain, avoiding conflict. Essentially, I had a steady diet of self-limiting beliefs and isolation and depression. I was minding my own business one day. I think I was in college, and I was walking in an apple orchard. It was kind of a spring day. And all of a sudden, it was very hard to describe, but all of a sudden I was just surrounded by, I was put into, that's a better way to say it, I was put into a world of love, a reality of divine love. And I had no drugs or alcohol or anything like that. I was sober. I was just minding my own business. But all of a sudden, as the Sufis would say, a divine veil was lifted, and I saw behind the curtain. And behind the curtain, I just kept saying, everything is love, everything is love, everything is love, everything is love. That was a real shocker for me. I had no way to process that. But interestingly enough, when I later on decided to become a Sufi, the first Sufi name I was given was Qalbi, which was the translation of that as a person, old heart, as a person whose heart has been in love with God their whole life. And then later on, when I received another name, it's Wadude, and Wadude is actually the quality of God, which is love. So when I asked my teacher, what does that name mean for me, he said, Wadude is the one who brings the deep love of God to the people. So that felt actually like a piece of soul purpose, to bring the deep love of God to the people. So for me, everything looks like it needs love, and that love is the medicine. So there's many other aspects of the Sufi path, but tonight when we're talking about the heart and the care of the heart, the primary quality for me of the heart that is alive and fully expressed is a heart that is drinking deeply and continuously from the love of God, from the divine realms, and is full of love. And this love comes out into relationship spontaneously. In Sufism it's said, if you want to be generous, it's good to be rich. So if you want to be somebody who gives the love, then it's best to have a heart that's overflowing with love. If you want to bring the peace, we have a master's program in peacemaking. It's a beautiful program. And if you want to be a peacemaker, from our point of view, it starts with having a heart that's overflowing with divine peace. In the late 1960s and early 1970s, I was part of the peace movement and the Vietnam War and a variety of other things. And I must say there was a tremendous amount of anger in the peace movement. What do we want? Peace. When do we want it? We want it now. There was just a lot of anger. There wasn't a whole lot of peace. So if you want to be generous, it's good to be rich. So our work for people who study with us, whether it's online or whether it's at the Sufi University, one piece of our work is to help you have a heart that carries the peace and the love and the mercy, not from your own effort, like trying to, okay, I'm going to be loving today or I'm going to be compassionate today. But no, a heart that is constantly drinking and full to the overflowing. And this is the key. When this starts happening, then this is spectacular and so beautiful. And this is all possible for everybody. We've worked with hundreds of, I've worked with thousands of people actually by now. And it's all possible, God willing. So how do you care for the heart? Well, the first thing is to be aware that the heart is, your heart is constantly being influenced by many impressions, probably thousands of impressions every minute, if we really knew. I mean, we know that just the eyes have, I forgot what it was, 140 million photoreceptors that are sending information to the brain just when our eyes are open. And so information is coming to the heart versus what you're looking at, what you're seeing, what you're talking. All of these things are coming to the heart. So in Sufism, there's a priority on guarding your heart, not exposing your heart to anything that causes constriction or anything you might say that's dirty water. So if you're in conversations with people and they're bad-mouthing each other or bad-mouthing other people, or they're dishonest, or they're trying to create discord between people, this is dirty water. You want to disengage yourself from that and step away. You guard your heart in part by guarding the doors to your heart. So what you listen to is one of the doors into your heart. What you say is doors into your heart. What you see is a major door into the heart. Just neurologically, it's a major door into the body. it is said that most of the major sins come in through the eyes, and then secondly through the ears. So what happens with this? Well, what happens is this input comes, and you say you see whatever you see, and it stimulates a desire. It stimulates a desire for food that's not good for you, or sexuality, or power, or it stimulates the ego, which we call NAFS, N-A-F-S. It's more than the Western psychology concept of ego. But these things stimulate the heart, and then the heart, which is supposed to make wise choices, is now under the burden of desires or projections or illusions or self-limiting beliefs, and you've now just added more difficulty to the heart. So guarding the doors to your heart through the senses is one important aspect of protecting the heart. But the reality is, for all of us, is that the heart's already been veiled by many, many, many experiences and many self-limiting beliefs. So the question is how to help the heart release or be free of the veils and the difficulties. So you can do that by, quote, taking care of yourself, which is good, or being good to yourself. That's okay. So that's what I call giving yourself a bubble bath. That's fine. But as Einstein said, problems are best solved at a higher level than how they were formed. So the higher level than these problems is the divine level. So in Sufism, our intention is to open our hearts to receive divine care directly. Now, as a medical doctor, I have treated hundreds, at least many, many hundreds of people who have heart disease and vascular disease and diseases of circulation. And I took a very holistic and comprehensive point of view, diet and exercise and nutrition and so on and so forth. And we got some pretty amazing results. But after 30 years, I have to say that the most important nutrient for the heart is light. The most important nutrient for the heart is light. And the most nutritious light for the heart is the light of God. The light of God carries within it everything the heart needs. And we go into this much more in depth in the actual university in-person sessions that we have out here in California. But the heart actually carries, the light of God actually carries peace, love, mercy, healing, wisdom, guidance, safety. Everything the heart needs is available through divine connection. And for me, this is a miracle. It's literally a miracle that we have the opportunity to call on the source of all of these things. And when you call on the source, there's a response. To me, that's miraculous. God says, when you remember me, I remember you. So in Sufism, one of our primary practices is the remembrance. So why do we have a practice of remembrance? Because as human beings, we forget. We forget who we are. We forget what we carry. We forget the truth of our own inner light, because our inner light has been buried to varying degrees. It's been buried by everything I've been talking about, what we call the veils, the beliefs, the desires, preconceptions from childhood, all of these things. So we have a practice called remembrance. It's pretty straightforward. It is a whole variety of practices. There's many different forms of remembrance. So let's practice one form of that, and this is a very special form. And what I invite you to do is just repeat after me, and we'll walk through it and give you an actual experience. Because in spite of everything I've said, Sufism is not about belief. It's about tasting. It's about what you experience. So that's in our university. It's very experientially oriented. It's not so much about beliefs. Is your heart able to experience more and more direct connection with God, and more freedom, and more joy, and more peace inside? Are you developing within your heart this oasis, this place of well-being that exists no matter what's going on? So say after me, La ilaha. La ilaha. Every time I say it, just please say it after me. La ilaha. La ilaha. La ilaha. La ilaha. La ilaha. La ilaha. Okay, very good. Now, La ilaha is essentially a prayer. The meaning of this is a prayer asking God, asking Allah, or God by whatever name you have. The name in Sufism is Allah, which means the one God of everything, the creator of everything. But this is a prayer asking God to help our heart release anything that no longer serves us. Any constriction, any self-limiting belief, any pain, any emotions, difficult memories. So as we continue, I'd like you to take a moment to say, like, what? It's like you put your prayer on this, whatever your prayer is tonight that you would like to be released from, that you'd like your heart to wash from. Just with your intention, put that prayer on this particular recitation. La ilaha. La ilaha. La ilaha. La ilaha. That's good. So keep putting the prayer silently. The prayer is silent while you're saying out loud. Very important to say out loud. La ilaha. La ilaha. La ilaha. La ilaha. La ilaha. Now, as we're doing this, I'll slow it down a little bit so you can say it after me. As we're doing this, just have the gentle intention for your heart to relax, to open, to receive, just to relax and let go. Taking a deep breath. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Just letting yourself relax as we continue with your prayerful intention that's placed on La ilaha. La ilaha. La ilaha. La ilaha. La ilaha. La ilaha. Okay, very good. The deeper aspect of this is that we're setting the intention to no longer bow to all of these difficulties that we have in our heart and holding them as the truth, holding them as our destiny. We are like that. We have a tendency to make these things idols. We make our experiences and our belief, we make them idols, and then we bow down to them, and this is not healthy for us. So as we continue, we say La ilaha. It's a deep prayer. It's a deep prayer to be released from bowing down to the garbage, to the stuff that we all carry. Asking Allah to help our hearts release this now and release it more and more day after day after day. La ilaha. La ilaha. La ilaha. La ilaha. La ilaha. La ilaha. Okay, good. Beautiful. Just take a deep, relaxing breath. The second half of this form of remembrance is illallah. I'll say it again. Illallah. It's 3 syllables. Illallah. And say it after me. Illallah. 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 Okay, very good. Now, as you might guess, the other half of this is to ask the Most High, ask God, ask Allah, for your heart to be illuminated with what's your own birthright, to be illuminated with the love and the peace and the mercy, to receive healing, to receive whatever it is that you'd like. So this is, you're asking to receive the good medicine, to receive the clean, what I call the clean water of divine peace and love and mercy, healing and wisdom and knowledge. So now you put that prayer, if you will, on the second half. What is the prayer that you want to receive, that at this time in your own journey, what is it that you would like for your heart and for yourself? And you're asking Allah directly. And then you just, with your intention, you put that prayer on the second half of this remembrance. Illallah. 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 Okay, beautiful. So this form of remembrance is, on the one hand, asking Allah to help the heart wash of any of the old garbage, whatever it is that no longer serves us. And the second part, asking Allah to fill our hearts with good medicine, with the peace and the love and the mercy. So we're going to combine it now and just say it after me. La ilaha illallah. 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 Okay, good. Now we'll take a short break, a short pause, and just take a deep breath, and then let's put a little extra emphasis on receiving. That can be our prayerful intention, just for the heart to to open more and more and to receive. We still have our prayer, but it's more like just letting yourself sit back in a hammock, if you will, or a nice sofa. And let's continue. And now we can, if you will, say it. We can say it together. Okay. La ilaha illallah. 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 Let's just continue to breathe in and relax. I'll read a little something about the remembrance from our teacher, Sidi Muhammad al-Jamal. He writes, the remembrance is the music of the soul. When the student lives in the garden, she sings. God makes this music, and she lives in a garden different from any garden she has lived in before. She lives inside the garden of the soul. Each follower lives with her God at the height of politeness. She knows the meaning of politeness, and her heart is very beautiful. And when she begins to sing, her soul begins to speak, and she knows the meaning of every word she sings. She begins to remember the unity. She begins to see only the face of God. She is empty of everything but God, and lives in the heart of her God, facing God soul to soul. This is the life, the only life. When she leaves everything on the outside and loses herself in the heart of God, she feels beauty and peace. She has left everything and lives only for her God. Let's continue. La ilaha illallah. 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 This remembrance is very holy. When the student makes the remembrance, he lives in the garden of the soul in a high station. And as he says the name, he speaks with his God soul to soul. It is necessary for him to be with God all the time, and not just in making the remembrance, but to be facing God at every time and every place, and to be in constant remembrance. Everyone needs this remembrance all her life, to be with God always, and not just at a certain time. In this way she reaches God. Each time she remembers herself, because she has returned to the source, and there is no difference between her and her God. God does not need this remembrance. God is very rich, but each time she remembers God's name, she cleans her soul to be one with her beloved. And we'll do just a little bit more. La ilaha illallah, 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 la ilaha illallah. And again, take a deep breath, relax, have the gentle intention to open your heart to receive. The remembrance is all about receiving. That's the beauty of it. So, how to use this remembrance? This can be a daily practice of 20 minutes a day. It could be an hour a day. It could be remembrance done in the middle of the night, and that time when the night gets really peaceful, around 2, 3 in the morning. It's a very special time. It's advised to say the remembrance not only out loud, but you say it into your heart. The heart actually has 2 windows in it, spiritually speaking. One window which opens to the lower world, 3-dimensional world, if you will. One that is a door that opens to the higher world. That door is just underneath. It's in the middle of your chest, just underneath the clavicles. It's where the upper door is, so you can say the remembrance into that place and having the intention for that part of your body to open and receive. So just doing the remembrance on a daily basis helps to wash the heart from all of the input that comes in. There's many things that come into our heart, consciously and unconsciously, that cause constriction or cloudiness or veiling. When you think about it, how often do you wash your hands every day? When I've asked a group of people in the public, everybody washes their hands at least probably 3 or 4 times a day, sometimes many more times than that. But when I ask how many people wash their hearts with the light of God every day, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, then nobody raises their hands. So, our hands are cleaner than our hearts. So my encouragement is to everybody on the call is to use the remembrance. The more you remember, the shorter your journey is, if you will. Remembrance, we understand, it helps shorten the journey and makes the journey easier. And hopefully you can get a sense of why that is tonight. Thirdly, you can use this remembrance whenever you're feeling pain or difficulty or limitation, or you have one of those nagging voices or beliefs. Be present to whatever it is that's causing distress, and then you can use the remembrance. You can bring the remembrance right to that place, to that voice, to that belief, to that emotion, and spend 15 or 20 minutes with it, and you will find that it shifts. Everybody on this call is sincere, so if you make a sincere prayer to Allah for help from Allah and bring the remembrance, this is a very special and powerful tool for self-healing. All of these things we go into in much greater depth at the school, and I have to say I just heard that I'm going to be the anchor teacher for the first-year class that starts in November. So I'm actually very excited about that. I've been the anchor teacher for the third-year class for many years, but now I get to go back and teach the first-year class. So I just want to say this is a shameless plug. And if there's anybody in the call that's interested in coming to the university, please contact me. I'd like to know of your interest, and I've just met with our primary teachers in the first year, which is, along with myself, Ibrahim Jaffe and Mary Mahibba and Rahima Shmal. It is an amazing group of teachers. I'm so blessed to be with these colleagues. They've all really done the real work in Sufism for 20 years. I have the highest regard for them, and they each have special gifts. And our goal is to create a year that is full of joy and magic and wonder and depth and real healing. So we're putting together really I don't want to say a brand new program, because this is really relying on this 1,500-year-old tradition and really just teaching what really works and has been preserved, but also to deliver it in a way that's tasty and fun. So anyway, I'm all very excited about that. I do want to say before we stop the recording that remember I asked for, invited you to decide, take something from the teaching tonight, which is something that you can use to make your life better and transform, something you can use for the rest of your life. It could be the practice of La ilaha illallah. Maybe it's one of the principles, or maybe you found a place of healing that you want to focus on. So just take a moment right now to decide what is that takeaway for you. What is it that you're going to take from this class and use with Allah's help to bring more blessings into your life. And if you have a paper, I would say write it down. And then I also was inviting you to decide on what your action step is. So what is your action step going to be? There are maybe, as I said, maybe it's a healing process. I want to give you the names of 2 people that you can contact to follow up on what resources we have at the university. We have many, many resources, and not just the actual university degree program that I mentioned that I'm heading up the first-year class, but other programs. So Donna is one, D-O-N-N-A. Her phone number in Texas is 512. Please write this down so that you have it. Donna, 512-775-7126. 512-775-7126. Email is Donna, D-O-N-N-A, and then her Sufi name, Jamila, J-A-M-I-L-A, and then the letter C as in Charlie, F as in Foxtrot. So Donna Jamila CF at gmail.com. If you prefer a gentleman, you can call Robert, R-O-B-E-R-T, on the East Coast, 717-552-1925. His number is 717-552-1925. His email is enrollment, E-N-R-O-L-L-M-E-N-T, enrollment at sufiuniversity.org, enrollment at sufiuniversity.org. Either one of them can help you with the enrollment process, which is like what program is the best fit for me. And their job is to really find out what you care about and then to see what resources we have that can help you. One correction is Donna doesn't live in Austin anymore. She's actually on the West Coast. So Donna's the West Coast, Robert's the East Coast. Call them anytime, day or night. Well, you can probably email them anytime, day or night. It would be better. Finally, another action step. These are all action step possibilities. I invite you to decide which one is best for you at sufiuniversity.org/info/. sufiuniversity.org/info, and just write down that web address. There's a 7-day e-course there on remembrance, which actually I believe has a recording of me leading the remembrance, so you can have that as a sort of guided remembrance process. There's also live weekly remembrance calls so you can practice with other people. That page also has free teleclass, or there's a whole series that's being put together. I guess this one that I gave tonight is the first one. There is sign up for a free consultation with Robert. There's information about the Masters of Divinity, what we call the academic programs. It starts with the first year class that I mentioned. So these are all action steps, using the remembrance, talking with Donna or Robert, signing up for any one of these online courses or weekly remembrance calls. So take a moment to decide what your action step is going to be. I invite you to write it down while you're doing that. Mestura, are you on the line? Mestura? Hopefully.
Yeah, Wadude, here I am.
Great.
Can you hear me?
I am. They're writing down their action steps, and you can stop the recording unless you have something else you want to add before we stop the recording.
Hi, this is Mestura. So we had a great Q&A session. We stopped the recording for the Q&A session so that people don't have to worry about having their questions broadcast all over the place. We are really committed to creating a safe space for you to be really open with your questions and receive whatever it is that your heart is meant to receive from the teachings. So I guess that's one of the bonuses of attending live, because I can tell you that it's really hard to not publish those questions because the answers that come through are such incredible, beautiful teachings. So again, if you do have any questions that come up for you as a result of listening to this recording, please connect with us. Wadude shared with you the phone numbers and email addresses for Donna Jamila and Robert Mukmin, and both of them, all of us, are more than happy to take your questions and connect with you. So please give us a shout, give us an email, a call, a ring, whatever. We look forward to connecting with you. Thank you so much for listening, and have a beautiful day. Thanks.